Are you looking for some ideas for 8x8 paper or simply some Easter card ideas? Hi, I'm Jess from jess-crafts.ch.page and I'm here to help you make the most of your crafty supplies and time. So let's get making. Today I have the Hoppy Easter from Violet Studios 8x8 paper pad. It was given as a freebie with order at scrapbook.com, so I wanted to call that out just because I know some people decided to place an order and pick this up, and I wanted to provide inspiration with it as soon as possible since I did too. And I did get the matching card toppers and mini tags. The card toppers do have a fair amount of sentiment, so if that is your goal to make quick cards, you can get the toppers. The tags are purely sentiments, and there you can get a look at what sentiments are included. And this paper pad has a good variety of papers. It does have some cut-aparts. It also has some like sort of all over general patterns, some more specific directional patterns. There's a good mix of really specifically Easter stuff and then a fair amount of things that you could use otherwise. So if you thought, there's no way I'm going to use this whole pad on Easter cards, I would recommend focusing on using the Easter stuff for your Easter cards and then saving the more general stuff if you can, because even these bunnies, they actually don't have anything specific to Easter on them. They're just kind of a great spring image. But the sentiments, so like if we look at this sheet that has the cut-aparts, some of them very much Easter, but like, don't worry, be Hoppy. Totally doesn't have to be Easter. So it's just kind of wanted to call that out if you're wondering how the value of the set. You just have to be okay with like maybe using egg puns outside of Easter. So I will be pulling in some yellow cardstock, and I'm using the sort of daisy or white and yellow flowers and the stripe paper. My template is for 8x8 paper. It does create 4 cards with 1 sheet of paper and no pattern paper scraps. This one only works with non-directional pattern paper. So the bunnies are directional, and you would be turning this strip on its side, and that wouldn't make sense because then your bunnies would be sideways across your card. So that's something to keep in mind. You can adapt it to make it work with directional pattern paper. You can make it a horizontal sketch and cut the paper another way, and maybe I'll share that in a future video. But the way that I designed the sketch initially works with non-directional pattern paper, and you can, branch out from there. Let's get cutting. This is a very simple sketch, easy to cut out. I'm gonna cut both sheets of paper at the same time. This paper is also single-sided. I do prefer double-sided paper, but I don't know if I've come across many 8x8 pads that are double-sided. So I need to cut some strips that are 3 inches. So I'm gonna measure from the 8 to the 5. 8 minus 3 is 5. Then again, another 3. So 5 minus 3 is 2. And I will cut off that 3 by 8 inch strip. All the measurements are right there on the template. Especially when they're relatively simple, it's helpful to just kind of review them and see them happening. So now I have a 1x8, two 1x8s and 2 3x8s. I'm gonna cut them down to 1x4s and 3x4s. Then all of my pattern paper is cut, and I can move on to cutting my cardstock mats. You never have to use cardstock mats. So for instance, in the case of this sketch, you could simply place these 2 pattern paper pieces on top of each other and onto your card and be done. And that is totally fine. But I like the look of mats. Sometimes I will avoid using them if I really need to make a lot of cards quickly though. And I think this particular sketch, especially if you choose either both sides of your paper or 2 patterns that contrast pretty well, it can be quite helpful. Now with this sketch, because it is for each of the pieces that I'm using, have a 4-inch long side, it's actually really, really efficient on cardstock as well, because I can cut a piece of cardstock to 3 1/4. I actually cut that to 6 1/2, and then half again to 3 1/4. But when I have my 3 1/4 piece, I can cut the 4 1/4 that I need for the other side, and I'll get 2 pieces that are 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 because my piece was 8 1/2. So as long as you start with your piece of cardstock at the 11-inch side and you cut off the 3 1/4 so that you have 3 1/4 by 8 1/2, it's really, really efficient. And then even going beyond that, I've got my two 4 1/4s by 3 1/4. I can move on to what I need for my other piece, which is 1 by 4. So again, I just need 1 1/4. And this time I'll just measure it from the other end because that can be a little bit easier to do. And 4 1/4. So again, the two pieces that I need without any scraps. This piece that is left over is also 3 1/4 perfectly. So it means I could get 2 more of these big backgrounds. However, eventually I'm gonna run into the problem if I need more thin strips, but as you can see, pretty efficient on cardstock. So if you're looking for a super, super efficient sketch, this is a good one. To make my 8 cards, I used 2 pieces of pattern paper and 2 pieces of full 8 1/2 by 11-inch cardstock. I am left with a 4 by 8 1/2-inch piece of cardstock remaining, which is so large I wouldn't even necessarily consider a scrap. It's very, very useful, but just to give you an idea that, like, you know, there's not going to be any little bits to worry about. And then I was getting too focused on cutting my cardstock, switched back to my pattern paper, and I cut my pattern paper to 4 1/4 instead of 4. So now I have this piece that's a 1/4 inch short, and this little chunk of pattern paper that, if I want to make things correctly, I need to attach back to it. And I'm just going to Scotch tape it on the back, and I am going to use it even though it's cut. Now, I could just adapt things. I could just use one smaller piece and one bigger piece and change up my cardstock. There's so many ways I can get around this. I do not have to stress about cutting something wrong, even in these no scrap situations. And I just wanted to take a minute and show you that because I think it's easy to just assume that, like, you're the only person who has so much trouble with seemingly, like, simple things. Like, all you had to do was cut it to 4 inches. Yet I messed it up. And that's okay. We all mess up and we don't need to beat ourselves up about any of that kind of thing. And look, you can barely even tell that it's taped back together. There's like a little line, but I'm gonna say most people won't even notice it, especially even on a finished card. So everything's really easy to put together from here. You're gonna take your 3 by 4 and put it on your 3 by 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then your 1 by 4 and put on your 1 1/4 by 4 1/4. We will tape these down to our card base. One little thing you might want to do, although I don't have the scraps for it as much today as I usually, or as I sometimes do, I suppose. When you tape this down, you could support these two edges here with a little bit of extra cardstock. I don't really think that's ever necessary. It does sometimes give a little bit more finished look, but particularly in this case where you have only a tiny bit of it sticking off each end, I would not worry about it. So that's the basic card. And then I have, as I mentioned, I have the card toppers and the sentiments, but I did want to take a beat and just look at them with you. So these card toppers, if you can see, they have these little bumps in them where essentially they were punched out. And not all die cut pieces, and I guess these actually, no, these wouldn't be die cut because they have the punch. I think that's a little bit of a different technical term, but they don't have those perfectly smooth edges. You can see my nail kind of catches there on those little bumps. That is not a deal breaker to me. They're very inexpensive, but I do want to point that out. So if that is something that would bother you, if if it feels maybe not as finished, I wanted you to know that that is how these were structured. And then I have 5 of each of the sentiments. So I'm going to pick a sentiment to go with each of the images, and I'll complete all 8 cards and show those to you. One last thing, with the tags, I did want to say they do, because, as many tags do, they do have the little hole in them. And I personally, if I see a little hole like that, I always want to put something like twine through it. And luckily I have some pink, I don't even know if this is technically twine so much as string, whatever. I have some pink and it'll work. It coordinates well. Also, in order to avoid the hole, what I would do with these, because a lot of times they are on the other end of these dots, is I would just cut the part with the hole off if I didn't want to put the string in, or I would tuck it underneath the embellishment that I chose. If you found this video helpful, here's another video where you can find more ideas for enjoying your crafty time and supplies. Let me know you like this video with a share to your crafty community, subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the next template or tutorial, and check the video description for product links. See you in the next video!